Hi there, Scott ROCKFILE back with another podcast for your ears. It's been a while since I talked about Alaska. Let's talk about Alaska in the middle of June. So this week I celebrated 21 months in the state of Alaska, a place I never thought I would live, but I'm really happy I do. And I honestly think I'm staying. Here's why. Obviously, when I got the job, we agreed over the phone, and I had never been here. I did some research and realized the Kenai Peninsula is much different than the rest of the state. Much, much different. I would liken it to Colorado or Washington weather-wise, if not even less. It's a lot colder there a lot of the time. We're very mild here. Now, winter did last a little bit longer, and I got to be honest, May this year sucked compared to last May. Last May was incredible. I see, my Facebook memories pop up, and I knew it was 70 degrees on a certain day, and the sun was out and all that, and I was at the beach, and here we hardly hit, over 60 for the month of May. But finally, June, we're getting some summertime weather. That's obviously a change you can feel. It's a very weird thing to describe the change, that the same temperature this time of year feels completely different than the same temperature about 4 or 5 months ago. Exact same temperature, but the air feels different. And when it hits you, it feels different. And I got to say, I looked at the temperature this morning and went, ooh, need a jacket. Walked outside to walk the dogs and went, didn't really need a jacket after all. It's not that cold. The thermometer said it was, but it didn't feel that way. What do I like about Alaska after all these months, and why would I still be here? Well, again, most people, when they picture Alaska, you picture what you see on TV. You picture those Netflix shows where people are fighting against blizzards. You picture igloos. You picture the Arctic Circle. And that's not what we have here. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you've seen the pictures. It's pretty gorgeous here. And yes, we do have a fairly long winter, but again, it wasn't worse than a winter that I've experienced in Colorado or West Virginia, places I've actually visited or lived in the winter. It was a little bit more this year. We got a lot more snow early in the season, so we were stuck with that. And it did kind of prompt me to buy a four-wheel drive. But other than that, they deal with the snow very well here. And in the wintertime, we just live a little differently than we do. It gets dark much earlier. In the middle of December, we're in complete darkness for almost 24 hours. People are like, oh, how do you deal with it? I mean, I love movies. I love playing video games. I love being in my cave sometimes. So wintertime, hibernation, eating well, lots of warm food, playing video games, watching movies, and staying inside is not a terrible thing. And I still go out to work, and we still go out to the occasional event. There are days that are not as bad as others. I went to the beach in the winter and took pictures and stuff like that. It's not horrible. It really isn't bad. And then when you get to the summertime, well, we have all this sunshine. I've got 19 hours of sunlight today. I feel like when I get home from work, I have a whole nother day. I can literally clean my house, watch a movie, play a video game, work on a podcast, build a website, and still have time left in my day. It's insane. So they warned me about it last year, and I realized it. I even realized it even more. I've just given into it this year. Last year, I would start at 8 or 9. I would close the blackout curtains. I would try and get into that nighttime frame of mind a few hours early so I could be relaxed when it came time to fall asleep. This year, if it's 10 o'clock at night, I'm not going to start a movie, but I'm like, I'm up. Why not mop the floor, wash the car or something? I know that sounds ridiculous, but 10, 11 o'clock, the sun is, we're full sunshine. It's been cloudy a lot. A buddy of mine asked what it looked like here, and I took a picture at 11:15. Didn't look that, middle of the day, but honestly, in another week or so, midnight's going to look like noon, and it's pretty crazy to look at your watch and, oh, wow. So that's one of the things I like, that the time of day is constantly changing. When you get in your routine to work, where the sun's going to be every day on your way home, and you know how it changes throughout the year. It kind of moves around the horizon a little bit. Well, here it's vastly different. Each week I'm losing like 25, 30 minutes of light, or gaining 25, 30 minutes of light over a week's time. We like 5 minutes a day, give or take. So you have this kind of perpetual change going on with living here, that it always feels like something's moving forward. You either have a lot more light in front of you, or you're not going to have much light in front of you, but it's different every day. And I like that. That's kind of what I like about radio. My radio career, you'd think we do the same things every day, play the same music, talk about the same. It's not. Radio is a completely different day every single day. Sure, there's the germ, the basic plan of what I do in a day, yeah, that kind of stays the same every day, but that's a minimal part of my day. It's everything else that takes up time that is different every single day. And I could give you a laundry list of things, you know. So it's kind of what I like about Alaska. It's different every day. What else do I like? I like sometimes going into places and being recognized. Not for being the disc jockey or whatever, but just they know Scott. Scott likes to shop here. Scott buys certain things. Did I find that in other places I've lived? Absolutely. But it happens more often here because I tend to shop at more locally owned places. We don't have a lot of chains, and a lot of us eschew a lot of the chain. We don't want to go to the chains. Sure, I want to buy big box processed stuff at Walmart because it's cheapest. But when I buy something for the kitchen or something for the home or something, you know, I try and shop local. And I've done that most of my career because the local advertisers are what pay my salary and keep my transmitters in power on the air, that kind of stuff. But on the flip side, you know, you also want to save money. Here, though, I love shopping local. I did a remote this week from the old Curiosity Shop, which is kind of a secondhand store, but it's amazing. Jeannie does an incredible job. Now she's got 2 locations. I love that shop. I found some things there that were things like my parents had when I was a kid. I bought those and put them in my house, and it's a nice reminder, and it's a memory. And that's what we talked about in the remote this week. I love North Country Fair. It's a shop that's basically kitchen stuff and home stuff. I'm a dude, you know, but I bought placemats that were $16 a piece there because they're awesome. You know, anyway, I go back to these places because, you know, they're good people. I want to support them, and they carry stuff I want, and they like it when I come in, and they're very positive and happy. And I don't know, I do remotes for the radio station, and they thank us for being there. These are things that they paid for. These are advertising, you know, events that they have paid for, and they still thank us. This remote this week, they had a cake for us. It's a different kind of environment here. Everybody who's here, we're all kind of in the same boat. We all love it here for kind of the same reasons. We like the fact that it's lower population, no traffic, very little crime, very little bad anything. It's just kind of a wonderful place to live, and we're all happy to be here. Sure, there's the occasional attitude. If you go to a bar late on a Friday night, you're going to see the same things in any bar late on a Friday night, but I don't tend to hang out in bars, so I don't really care about that. Is there a little bit more of what a friend of mine called toxic masculinity? I guess. I don't know. Have you ever been to South Florida? I don't know. I find the people here to be very nice. I find the temperatures and the weather to be very moderate. I like that I never have any traffic. The people here would complain about there's more traffic on the road, there's more tourists this time of year, and there is. I have to wait a little longer pulling out into traffic outside of work or my home or whatever. So what? It's still not. I don't stand in any lines. When I check out of Safeway or Walmart, I usually walk right up to the register. What people consider crowded here, to me, is 10 people on the beach. That's not crowded to me. I've been in, again, South Florida or South Carolina or Atlanta. Only 700,000 people live in the state. The state is the size of half the United States or a third of the United States. So think about that. We're pretty spread out here. The peninsula I live on, we estimate there's probably about 50,000 people on the peninsula, but they're spread out over various towns and little suburbs and out in the middle of nowhere on the side of a mountain kind of thing. We're not heavily populated. That's kind of a wonderful thing. Air is great. The weather's great. Water's clean. Air is clean. People are nice. Do I miss things? All right, big thing come up, Tool. Tool is touring. They're playing several dates in Washington. They're playing several dates in Canada. That's a short flight for me from here. Most of my friends who know me, aren't you missing concerts by now? Yeah, I could use a concert, but we get a lot of live music in Alaska. A lot of bands do play Anchorage. More bands play down here than you would think. And there's a lot of local talent here that are worthy. These are all musicians from all over the place or have played with people from all over the place. Talented, good equipment, good talent, good songs, good songwriting. Any kind of music, any kind of entertainment you can find here. You might have a few hundred people instead of a few thousand people at the show, but I'm digging that intimate thing. I'm digging the one-on-one. I'm digging the fact that when I'm introduced to somebody at one of these things, they remember me from last summer's New Alaskan thing or whatever. This just doesn't happen in a lot of the markets I've worked in. Don't get me wrong. There was a time when I wanted to work in New York City or LA. There was a time I enjoyed working in markets of 300,000 and 400,000 people. But the last time I went to Atlanta, the last time I left Florida, the traffic, the people, the attitudes, the heat, the humidity, I gotta say, this is like a paradise for me. It's not for everybody. If you still need that, if you still need the big city, well, you could move to Anchorage. They're a pretty good-sized city. They get a little bit more Alaska than we get here. It's also stunningly beautiful. Right there on the water, the mountains. It's incredible. Down here on the peninsula, though, things are a little bit more mild, a little different, a little interesting. Anyway, long story short, I'm digging it. I'm enjoying it. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me talk about it. I'm trying to think of some other things that are different. I don't have AC in my house. In my apartment, there's no AC. My water and heat is included. I have radiant heat in all the floors throughout the entire apartment. No AC. Why? Because I live a mile from the beach and we're in Alaska, and all I have to do if I want to cool off the apartment is open a couple of windows and temperature drops pretty quick. Even on a warm day when it's 60 and above, the breeze is always nice and cool, and it's pretty much always flowing. A lot of people move from Kenai to Soldotna because they get tired of the wind, but I'm somebody who really enjoys wind, except on those really, really cold days. That's been the dividing point by how cold things are. I don't care if it's 10 below in January. If the wind's not blowing, it's not bad. It doesn't feel any different than like 20. But if the wind's blowing, you feel every bit of that. That wind is like a cold knife. But again, you prepare for it, you dress for it, layers are a thing. You walk from your house to your car to work, your car to the grocery store. It's not that big a deal unless you're into outdoor sports and hiking in the winter. Why would you? It's not like I'm walking against this blizzard that you see in movies and TV shows. It's not like that here. Yes, we had some cold days. Yes, we had some snow. Never had a blizzard here. I've been here almost 2 years. Not here, not on the peninsula. The weather's warmer and milder. The seasons are milder. We got grass almost instantly. That was kind of cool. So the time change thing, I don't know why we still do daylight savings time with the fact that we lose or gain 5 minutes of light every single day of the year, 365 days a year. June 21st, we're going to be almost solid light. December 21st, we'll be almost solid darkness for a day. And then in between, it's constantly changing. How cool is that? So I've had a few friends reach out to me, people that are interested in retiring here or visiting here or possibly working here. You can find any job here. There are certain things that are more needed, and honestly, they're looking for really good people in almost every career path here. A lot of Alaskans go somewhere, get school, and come back. It's kind of like that Grand Cayman thing when I lived there. But there's not an influx of people like other states have that, I want to go there and work. It's just people have this impression that Alaska is igloos and snowfields, and we're not year-round, especially down here. It's quite nice, actually, today. So anyway, if you're thinking about it, let me know. Send me a message. I will, send you to the right places. You can look for employment. There are some other benefits here. We'll talk about the PFD when I finally get mine later this year. That's, yes, the government pays us a dividend, and there's a whole history on that. If you want to look up the Alaska PFD, please feel free to do that. Permanent Fund Dividend, PFD? Yeah, anyway. I will do more Alaska stuff. We will take more videos, more pictures and all of that. I'm getting out more this year, but it's been rainy and a slow start to summer, so I'm a little behind on doing that, but it's on the way. So if you're into Alaska stuff, I promise to heighten up this channel a little bit more with more Alaska stories, more Alaska videos, more Alaska pictures and stuff like that. I'm Scott. I'm ROCKFILE. Thanks very much for listening to this podcast. I also do movie and music reviews and interviews with rock stars and all sorts of other stuff. But yes, I will do more Alaska podcasts as well. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Have a spectacular one.